Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar video. In this one I want to talk about expectations and what we may or may not get from CinemaCon 2025, which is coming up next week. This is the event where we do expect to hear another update on the upcoming Aang movie, the first Avatar Studios animated project. So a lot of this is going to be about kind of expectation setting and like I said, what we almost don't expect from this. So like straight away, I would really make it clear. Don't go into this event expecting to see a trailer for this movie next week. I would say don't even go in maybe expecting to see any visual of any particular note from this movie. We are going to get, I think, some sort of an update because I think everything points to that, just with the timing and stuff like that. But is it going to be a particularly revealing event for this movie? I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be as big as we think, but they could surprise us because it is the big kind of Avatar 20th anniversary year, and they're kind of basically highlighting that the rest of the year is kind of celebration of the anniversary. So they could actually turn the Avatar section, which might in any other year have been a maybe smallish section, into a pretty big section, and maybe they will deliver more than we think. But I think everything points to we'll get something, but will it be a lot? That's what I'm not sure about. So straight away, CinemaCon runs from the 31st of March to the 3rd of April. The Paramount panel, because again, remember, Avatar Studios is under Paramount, along with Nickelodeon and stuff like that. So the Aang movie is going to probably likely appear at this Paramount panel, which is happening on April 3rd. So this is happening in 8 days from now. So just over a week away from this. They will have their presentation 9:45 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Las Vegas time, of course. Paramount Pictures invites you to an exclusive presentation highlighting its upcoming slate. And the idea, of course, is that with the movie, as of last month, continued to be doubled down on as coming out January 30th, 2026. That means it absolutely should be part of the upcoming slate, as in it's out in 9 months, under a year. This is theoretically the last opportunity for it to make an appearance at a CinemaCon, especially in a big way where it is properly an upcoming project. So you'll note here, hosted by Brian Robbins, who we have had kind of reveal information to us about Avatar Studio stuff before, and Chris Aronson. And then you'll note here, this is a key thing for this event in terms of expectations. This is a behind closed doors event. People who attend, they are not allowed to use cameras or electronic devices, audio or video at this event. They are allowed to text report on the event coming out of this, which is why anything that is shown here, we would not expect to see publicly, unless they do something where they time an official public thing to show at this event and also publicly. But typically the idea is what they get shown here, we kind of find out about to a certain degree, but we don't get to see. But they might use this as an opportunity to put something out there publicly as well. And then just in general, with the way the text reports will come out, there will be a certain amount of information that just gets kind of revealed in that way. Now, the other point is, why do we truly properly expect a showing at CinemaCon 2025? The main reason is because the Avatar movie had an appearance at this presentation the last 2 years in a row. So last year, we got the reveal of the cast. So Dave Bautista and stuff like that. We got the initial voice cast for Aang the Last Airbender. We also basically got that working title as well, Aang the Last Airbender, coming out of this event. And of course, as you can see here, this Variety article notes that this was revealed at CinemaCon. Now you'll note again, we didn't really get to see pictures necessarily of the way that this announcement kind of happened. It was all just through mostly text reports, of course. This was obviously back when we still had the October 2025 date. It was I think the month afterwards, we got the delay into January 2026. So just keep that in mind. And then, yeah, we also got information on the movie the year before. So we're going back to 2023. So here's discussing films, report from the event, you know, that it's being live reported from CinemaCon 2023, the Paramount panel. Right at the bottom, you'll note here, untitled animated Avatar The Last Airbender film. This is the Aang movie. Paramount gave a look at what the main cast looks like for the movie. It was only a single image reveal with Aang, Katara, Sokka, Zuko and Toph all present in their adult age in battle poses in front of a snow mountain. They gave a description of this. Now, this obviously is a description of this image that ended up actually leaking out shortly after these articles went live. We were not meant to get this image. This is an accident on behalf of the photographer putting these images up on their Getty Images account publicly when they weren't meant to. Complete accident. It barely was even like a leak. It was just an accidental reveal of the image, basically. But yeah, this is that image. So it kind of highlights that, hey, if we get more images revealed, we'll probably get text descriptions along the lines of this coming out of it. If they get shown a clip or a trailer at the event, we will at least get a text description of it. Hopefully, of course. So that's why we expect news coming out of this. Why would they, after 2 years in a row showing off stuff, now, with 9 months to go, under a year until the movie's actually out, it's part of the slate, why would they now not reveal anything? That would be very odd, especially because just last month, of course, we had the announcement of the first Avatar animated series, Seven Havens, as part of this press release they put out for the anniversary of Avatar, the 20th anniversary. And they have a big plan, if you go through all the extra stuff here at the bottom, for the rest of the year. It's not just the day of the anniversary. They're basically saying from now until next February, it is the anniversary year for Avatar, 20th anniversary. So that gives you the idea of there's multiple reasons why Avatar probably should be a decent part of this presentation. How much they commit to getting out publicly, we're not really sure. But I do want to also stress at this point that we're probably not going to get a trailer. We're probably not going to get tons of images coming out of this presentation that we actually do get to see. Just because you have to acknowledge how much information is actually out there publicly about this movie, and it's not much. As in, the next stage of marketing for this movie is not trailer, it's early basic information, because look at the last official mention from just last month about this movie. The only real official stuff out there is that it's still going with an untitled movie, / working title, depending on what you want to go with. Untitled animated Aang Avatar film or Aang The Last Airbender is a working title. We've heard Lost Realm thrown around, so we don't have an official title for the movie. The date, we have now had approaching a year with this date, but is it just going to remain locked in at that date? A lot of people have pointed out a January release date is maybe not ideal, so they might want to push that back a little bit to get it into a more nice territory. So a release date update is absolutely a possibility coming out of this event. The finalized title, I think, is probably the thing that kind of has to be confirmed coming out of this event. Like, it feels crazy if we don't actually know the finalized title after this event. And then you'll note again with the casting stuff, there's only these characters announced. Dave Bautista voicing our villain. Then we have the new actor for Toph, Katara, Sokka, and Aang. And you'll note we don't have an actor for Zuko. Dante Bosco is not confirmed. That has been misreported in a lot of places. We don't know he's on board. So we're still waiting for that. And then there's this, from the copyright information, there's still the Steven Yeun thing that he might be maybe in to voice Zuko. We just don't know. So there's a few things that could happen here. Maybe the rest of the cast announcement, maybe announce who is voicing Zuko would be kind of nice. Release date is a possibility. Update title. Because, again, just to double down on why a trailer is not really a reasonable expectation, look at other Paramount movies. And again, the Aang movie is a Paramount movie. They're not going to treat the Aang movie differently than franchises like Transformers, Sonic, Smurfs. It's a Paramount movie. They will do it in their typical marketing way. You'll note the consistency across a lot of this stuff. Transformers 1 came out in September. Its first trailer came out in April. So that's only 5 months beforehand. Sonic 3, much anticipated movie. You'd think they'd go crazy with the marketing, but actually released in December, and the first trailer was only in August, so only 4 months before release. Smurfs, which is a more recent thing that's coming out relatively soon, it's coming out in July. Its first trailer was only a few weeks ago, back in February. So they seem to consistently want to do the trailers 5 to 4 months before release. Maybe you can stretch that to 6 months, meaning that San Diego Comic-Con in July is likely more of the time period we would expect a trailer to come out for. Because, again, look at all this other stuff that we don't have before trailer 1. We don't have an official title. We don't have an official logo. We don't have an official movie poster. All of this stuff is going to happen before the trailer. And that's what I really want to stress in this video is your expectation should, I think, be here with release date information, maybe some casting information, and maybe, if they really want to make a big deal about Avatar, maybe a little bit more. But you have to keep your expectations, I think, reasonably low and in check. They're not going to suddenly out of nowhere release a trailer 9 months before a movie. That's just not what they've done in recent times. Overall, there's nothing to really suggest that overall. So that's the kind of thoughts there. So again, based on like what happened here, what will they actually show at this? My guess is I think they will show them a clip of the movie. I don't think it will be a trailer. I think they will at the event get to see behind closed doors a clip from this. Who knows what type of clip it will be, but I guess it will be a clip that maybe shows off a decent number of the main cast members, a little bit of action, just maybe a clip that just really shows like a bit of character and a little bit of action, just to give a really decent look at this without spoiling too much. That doesn't give away the plot. It's the characters, but they do get to see some of the animation. That's what I think they will show off. I think, of course, when they introduce it, they're going to probably have to reveal what the official title of the movie is, and that will get reported to us. So I think that's kind of the biggest lock information, is just finalize the title. If Zuko maybe is in the clip that they maybe get to see, or in an image, maybe they will confirm who the Zuko voice actor is, and that will be another nice kind of update to have. That would be my guess. Now, will they change the release date? Because I think this has been something that it's felt like we've maybe been building towards for a while. Keeping in mind, the movie's already been delayed from October into January. Everything else, I think, points to the fact that if they do change the date, it's not going to be a huge delay. I can definitely see the idea of a couple of weeks, so that it's maybe a February release, maybe a March release. Pushing it back any further than that is going to feel kind of bad, but I don't think changes maybe too many of their plans. So that's kind of the hope. Keeping in mind that like it's already basically a February release because it only has 2 days in January. If they just delayed it by 1 week, it's a February release. That's not too bad. It's hard to, I think, say, because we don't really know what the production is necessarily like or anything like that. We have no real foundation to say it's for sure getting delayed because of this factor. A lot's going to depend on, I suppose, lineups for other movies. They might want to move it a little bit further into the year just to get out of the way of the James Cameron Avatar movie, which I think is coming out in December. So making sure it's maybe pushed into maybe late February or March, I can see happening, but it's still in essence the same release window. I think it will only be a very frustrating delay, like I said, if it is maybe 3 months plus, or something in that range. I hope they can keep the same date, or slightly adjusted, but that's just something to kind of I think about overall with this. So there is a possibility there. What will the actual title B, I suppose we do need to talk about, because Aang the Last Airbender is the working title. It's probably the front runner for what they will commit to, just because we also have this to go off. You'll note theatrical there. It says Aang the Last Airbender and it has a logo. What this is, it's a kind of screenshotted, kind of cropped part of a basically official marketing thing that we saw. Someone who works for Paramount left this video up on their Vimeo account from a few months back. They have worked on official marketing stuff for, you know, Avatar stuff before for Paramount and stuff like that. So there is an official aspect to this, and it seems to line up with what we know. The next series is an Earth Avatar series. I think there's been somewhat recent rumors about maybe this series following that to be about an Airbender character. We know there are 3 movies. We don't know for sure if the next 2 movies are also going to be ATLA focused, and new content might be the assumed Fire Avatar AAA video game Ice Wars. So this seems to line up, seems to be official, and it has a logo that we never have seen before, Aang the Last Airbender, with the elements in the order, given that Aang is like the active avatar. It fits to a certain degree. It's a decent title in terms of it's similar to the name of the show everyone remembers the franchise for, but it's different. And especially that title with visuals, I think will work reasonably well for them. I think a lot depends also on, you know, if those other 2 movies, if they're going to confirm them to be kind of sequels or follow-ups to the first movie, that could affect the way they do the titling for the first movie, in that if it's just a one and done, Aang the Last Airbender is probably a super functional title, even if it's not super exciting. If it's the first of 3 movies, then you probably need a subtitle. So Aang the Last Airbender Lost Realms, Avatar Lost Realms. What way can we go with this? What is the requirements for this? I can see for movie 1, maybe them committing to the idea of, okay, let's make this super clear. It's part of Avatar The Last Airbender, so we want The Last Airbender in it, but we're saying it's Aang The Last Airbender. Maybe with the subtitle Lost Realms, which is what the copyright information that we have about the movie says the movie is called. There's no way the movie is just going to be called Lost Realms on its own, with no mention of Avatar or Aang, anything like that. So some combination of all this stuff together is going to be what the title is. I'm fascinated to see what they commit to in the end, just from a marketing standpoint and a franchise perspective, in terms of, like, you know, is Avatar Legends on the table for stuff like this? Avatar Legends Lost Realms? I'm not sure, because obviously the social media stuff has been kind of rebranding. And perhaps just a quick note, sidebar on that, you'll note that just over the last few days, they launched an official Avatar TikTok called Avatar Legends. So that lines up with a lot of the switches of the social media to be Avatar Legends. And what's with that timing? Like the week before CinemaCon? The week before potentially our first maybe significant news about the movie, they launch another platform. Just putting it out there that's sort of telling, especially with the anniversary going on this year. So that's certainly a possibility. And I just feel as well, when it comes to this sort of stuff, we're now in the range, and because we have gone this whole time with no image, surely we have to come out of this event to a certain degree, any sort of public announcement, with some sort of a visual for this movie. Just so some of the official pages and stuff like that, maybe the website can be updated to say, movie coming this date, this is what the movie's called, here's at least a logo, if not a movie poster, boom, this is what it is. And it's very easy for us as fans to direct fellow fans to, here's the information we have on the movie, because right now it's a mess because we don't have anything highly concrete. A lot of basic information needs to get clarified. That's the kind of main point coming out of this. We need to get the basics locked in, and then we can build to the events in the future where we will likely get bigger stuff. And that's what I have kind of noted here. Comic-Con is, of course, end of July. that's maybe when we're looking to probably get more information on the movie. Maybe trailer coincides with this event, though it could be a little bit early actually, especially if the movie does get slightly delayed. And maybe this pushes into actually there's still 7 months to go. That's a bit early. But with Comic-Con, they also have the opportunity to reveal stuff about Seven Havens, which also doesn't have any images out there officially for it. And then New York Comic Con right now with the January date is in a weird spot where most of the marketing you think is going to be the initial main marketing stuff is going to be done. We probably should have a trailer before here. Is it a trailer 2 time? Might be a little bit early for a trailer 2, which based on other stuff tends to be like the month before. You know, you can sort of see here, maybe a little bit kind of closer, 1 or 2 months to go. So you're getting in that sort of rough range overall. But you have to remember that in or around these events, it's going to be about the Avatar franchise, not just the movie specifically, but the movie, of course, will be a focus because it's the launch thing for Avatar Studios. So that's the big thing here. So coming out of this, the idea is ultimately just to get across the idea of the expectations you probably should have going into this. Is just with everything happening for Avatar, the build, yes, we should go into this event expecting news. But the level of that news, that's probably what you need to keep in check. We're likely going to get minimal, if any, visuals. And most of what we will get, I think, is mostly just the basic information we probably should have had for a while. I get it. I'm frustrated too, just like I think everyone is, about, okay, we're just following the set Paramount movie marketing strategy, whereas we're thinking more from the Avatar perspective and we want the information as soon as possible. It's just unfortunate that that's the way it is. But this is I think the logical approach to take for this. So gonna wrap it up there and just open up the comment section now for you guys. What do you think we will get, if anything, from CinemaCon? What will they be shown behind closed doors? What information will get confirmed to us? And will Paramount do anything publicly to kind of really make this into a proper like news announcement? Kind of feels like something kind of has to happen. And the hope is just that like the update is a little bit more than just, 1 or 2 text reports on whatever they do get shown. So yeah, there is the video. There are my thoughts. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are. If you have any questions as well, put them down below. But otherwise, that's been the video. Thanks for watching and bye.